This is the Snoqualmie River here below the falls. The falls are up several hundred feet from here. This is below the falls, before the fish hatchery and before Falls City. The traffic that you hear there is from Highway 203, or I'm sorry, 202, where 203 stops at Falls City and it turns into 202, goes up to the falls, and then goes into North Bend. So I'm gonna carefully manage my way down this steep slope here and give you a great view of this awesome, probably one of the biggest road cuts that I know of in the area, and show you some of the glacial features we have in this awesome, you know, 100-foot road cut basically. So let's head down the hill. All right, well, we made it down the hill off of Highway 202 there. Like I said, this is the Snoqualmie River below the falls. At least we got rid of some of the traffic noise. However, we do have the lovely sound of the river, which is looking pretty good here. Beautiful spring day. It's April 9th, and this is just an awesome example here of kind of a macro scale of what I've been showing you on smaller micro scales in the road cuts and small pits that we've been digging. And hopefully the glare isn't too bad. I'm gonna try and get into the shade here a little bit. And yeah, let's start at the top. You can see the trees barely hanging on. Some are starting to fall as gravity and freeze and thaw conditions continue to chip away at this. It's not even a road cut. It's a stream bank basically, that, you know, this river has over time cut through all this material, except for up at the falls, because that's really hard basalt, and we'll get up there in a second and look at that. But this is a great example of the different horizons of glacial material here, and the processes of, you know, kind of landslides and things like that. And you can see this, you know, this tree here, this Doug fir, just fell pretty recently. Its needles are just red, and the one it's laid on top of still has needles on it. So these trees could have come down during the last flood event that we had, when during this winter, when the the Snoqualmie River was probably just about up at the tree level here, the bank here. And in fact, those rocks that I came down are there to armor that road there, so that when the river does flood, it doesn't eat away at the bank and take the road out. But it's really interesting to start up there where the roots are hanging down. You can see, I mean, that's like about 80 feet up, potentially 100 feet at the very tallest point. And then, you know, it's kind of hard to see, but you know, you get this down angled kind of striations there, you know. And if you can imagine, you know, that's how the stream was going 10,000, 12,000 years ago, and it was, you know, it was that high up with ice and water in some cases during flood events. And so you get these alluvial deposits of this glacial material here in these lenses, and you can see the changes in the size of the cobbles as you get closer to this edge here, where you probably had some rock. You know, if I look behind me here, how this rock cobble has settled out in this area here. 10,000 years from now, the stream will be deeper than it is here, and you can imagine, you know, 10,000 years ago, this kind of you know, stream bank, gravel bar was up there, and now we're seeing the remnants of it, and it goes on and on and on as the profile of this soil, you know, basically until you hit some kind of geomorphological you know, structure or pattern, another water or something like that. But you know, just envision what we're looking at pretty much being the main feature of the soil profile for as far as you can see back. If we were to cross here, I don't know if we're gonna get a chance. That log, I could probably cross it, but I don't know, we'll see. The view from over here is pretty decent, but you get these layers, you know, of consolidated material from different flood events, from different times, and then you get into these sandy deposits. There's some back up in there, but of like kind of a vertical lens that seems to come down, which, you know, again, this could be potentially even like a moraine, lateral moraine from a glacier or something, dropping that material in, or maybe that was the old beach area up there. And I think also it's just kind of slid off and it's covered a lot of this glacial material. You can see this larger cobble down here, and then boom, it hits this hard pan. You know, you can almost see the stones there cemented into this hard pan, and that's one of the reasons I want to get over there, to see if that's just sedimentary rock of, you know, mostly sand and small pebbles, or if it's compacted glacial till. I'm thinking it's probably compacted glacial till. I don't think the roots go too far in there. You can see over there, so there's some roots in there, not much. And then you can see here how this area has fanned out from a recent slide. It could have been where that tree came down, maybe from up there. Could have exacerbated the situation, but like what I've been talking about with landslide processes, you see this layer here where the rock stops, and it's just a couple meters of pure compacted material or sand, old glacial lake sediment. And when the water seeps down through there, unless it hits these rare cracks, there's a couple right across from us, unless it hits those rare cracks and can go down vertically, it's going to come out laterally and it's going to erode away the material, the rocky material and sandy material above, and then eventually it's going to slough off, like you can see what's happening here, where you've got these miniature, you know, small scale landslides happening. This is just a great picture of glaciers and how glacial material gets laid down over time and different sizes at different rates, and gives you just a window back into time here. Super cool to look at, and I didn't want to pass up this perfect opportunity to show you some seriously deep glacial soils.